I live in Ireland, the northern part to be exact, and I've always had an interest in the paranormal. However, I can't say I've had a huge number of experiences that amount to anything. I do have a few personal stories and local legends that I would like to share, however. And so, I'm going to start with one that's been quite prominent recently. I live in the outskirts or suburbs of Belfast, Northern Ireland's capital, and not too far away from me is a 7-mile cycle trail, which has been promoted as a safe, eco-friendly travel route for cyclists through the urban areas of the city outskirts. Much of the cycle path is bordered by steep banks which are lush with trees and vegetation. The reason for this is that the path used to be a railway line that ceased operation in the 50s or 60s, but more on that later. Anyways, at this point, you might be wondering what's so spooky about an innocent cycle path. It took me a long time to learn about what goes on under the surface in this area, and it was only once I began to use it as a quick route to my friends' houses that I began to discover the activity under the surface. For a start, the area is hugely popular with drug dealers, with shoes tied to branches, indicating the location for pickups or trading. On top of this is a huge amount of muggings also take place here. Just under a month ago, it was reported that a man had been attacked by a gang with baseball bats and brass knuckles, under the cover of darkness, of course. These events became more prominent in the stretch of path closer to the city centre. Along another stretch of the path, a young man took his own life several years ago, and a small plaque tucked into the bushes acts as a painful reminder. Now, earlier I mentioned that the path was once an old railway line, and several of the old platforms are still partially intact. Recently, however, many people have reported hearing the sound of train whistles and other rattling sounds. They are always reported as being very faint and sounding as though they are officially in the distance. It is reported that you are most likely to hear them on a quiet night. However, I myself haven't heard anything thus far. A few years ago, a video surfaced on YouTube that was from the headcam of a cyclist. He stopped along a stretch of the path and examined what he describes as a strawy effigy, a figure made from straw and plastic for clothing. Apparently, several of these appeared along the greenway strung to the trees by their necks. These dolls immediately sprung rumours of some sort of witchcraft, and pictures made it onto several local forums. Now, the most likely explanation is that they were placed as a sort of practical joke. However, it was a creepy occurrence nonetheless. Up until now, I took most of this stuff for granted. While I knew that the pathway had a dark side, I didn't really buy into anything paranormal. However, I've been reconsidering this because of something that happened just a few nights ago. I was cycling a short stretch home after visiting a friend when I approached an area where a 5-meter deep ditch begins on each side of the path. Large, low-lying trees make visibility poor and leave a dark abyssal crevice which you can barely see into below the leaves. As I was cycling through this area, I took a glance to my left, and sitting at the top of the deep ditch I saw some sort of skinny, hairless humanoid with deep set, possibly black eyes and long dark hair, resting with its head on a trunk. The sighting was only a split second as I turned back to face the path and floored it all the way home. Since the sighting was so quick, I wondered whether my brain had created something out of the leaves and thick tree trunks. All the same, it seemed so vivid. Just yesterday, I was taking a jog up the path, much earlier in the day, and I tried to pinpoint the spot where I had seen this creature. With little struggle, I did find it, and my first shock was that this area of the crevice had no tree trunks or branches. It was an empty gap leading to the ditch below. I knew that this is where I had seen the thing, but I now don't know what to think. On top of this, the gap was about 8 or 9 feet wide, and from what I remember, this creature took up the whole length of it, with this happening so recently, and along with the fact that I haven't had another paranormal experience in so long, I am now slightly on edge. I'd love to hear if anyone has seen anything similar. So, has my imagination gone wild? Or do you think there is something really going on here? Hello everyone, SinisterShaf here. This story was The Psychopath Demon by MultiCrazed. Thank you for letting me narrate your story. If you enjoyed this video, then please remember to like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Also, if you can, share this video with your friends. You can now also follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Links are in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and, as always, stay sinister.